To everyone who are today's seminar will be taken up by Dr. Nityanand Singh, who is a member of Honorable Supreme Court of India and a fellow member of Institute of Company Secretary of India. He has also secured doctorate in law. Mr. Singh is an advocate by profession and has been practicing at Honorable Supreme Court of India. He has an extensive experience of more than 20 years in litigation, and Mr. Singh is also a partner and founder of a law firm, namely Nux and Partners. Nux and Partners has been operating as a corporate firm in retail concept and currently handling litigation matters in more than 500 districts in India. Dr. Singh is also running an NGO with the name and style Vidya Vijay Foundation and has been serving the poor and needy people for their upliftment and their education, social and living standard. The name Vidya and Vijay has been derived by the name of their parents. The first word is the name of his mother, Mrs. Vidyadhari Devi, and the second word is the name of his father, Dr. Vijay Narayan Singh. Mr. Singh is a regular visiting faculty of IIM, ICAI, ICSI, and various other law colleges and business schools in all over India. Dr. Singh is also socially and politically very much active and has contested the elections of Legislative Assembly at Delhi twice. Now, I would like to invite Sir to continue with today's session.
Thank you, Ms. Komal, for brief introductions. Now, good morning to all of you friends. And today the session is due diligence of the property and its pros and cons. We will take the session in the two parts, half an hour for the properties, the person who purchasing the property individually, and for another half an hour, the person who wants to purchase the property in the group housing, because the due diligence of the both person purchasing the property from the individual persons and person purchasing the property in the group housing, the due diligence of both property you are purchasing is something different. And there are the different requirements. What are the requirements and how to do the due diligence before purchasing the property? Because I am in the extensive years, more than 20 years of the practice, and some of the people approach me that yes, this happened, and only because of that, almost more than crores of the rupees have been siphoned off by the persons. Only because of that, they did their due diligence. Once they did the due diligence, his money can be saved. So most of the clients approaching us and without due diligence, and there are the certain problems arises. Once the problem arises, then they approach. Then I always suggest that yes, you should do first of all the due diligence, then you should purchase the property. Otherwise, you will always face the difficulties, because every property there are the certain issues. So first of all, you should look into that what are the issues, and being a professional, it is one of the core area for the practice. So once we will start with, we will begin with what is the word due diligence. First of all, I would like to explain what is the due and what is the diligence and what is the legal due diligence. I will share with the presentation. What is the due? Due means proper. Due means proper. And what is the meaning of the diligence? Diligence means a reasonable steps taken by the person to avoid committing mistakes or breach of law. There should be some reasonable steps has to be taken so that there should be no any mistakes or law cannot be breached. So therefore, due diligence, these words are very important. And the third one is, what is the legal due diligence? Legal means related with the law. Due means proper, and diligence means any act done meticulously / scrupulously. Scrupulously means a minute detail you have to know about that particular property. So therefore, there should be some checklist. What are the documents are required? Please, there is some disturbances. If anyone have, please mute yourself. Yes, please. There should be some checklist. And we have tried to prepare the exclusive checklist so that the entire things can be covered. But even though it is presumed that it is inclusive, not exhaustive. Because checklist is the most important things before purchasing the property. What are the documents you have to look into? And what are the things are required? There should be a checklist is prepared for the due diligence. So first of all, you have to, suppose if you want to purchase a property, so first of all, you have to look into whether this property is a residential property, is commercial property, or agricultural land. So there should be the first and foremost things is required that what is the classification of the property. We have to look into the property. What is the classification of the property? The property may be agricultural land, may be residential, may be commercial. What happened in the current scenario that most of the agricultural property, certain people purchase the agricultural property and sell it as it is without converting it into the residential. And once you are purchasing that agricultural property, and later on there are the certain issues, 100% will be arises that it is agricultural property and you cannot construct the buildings. Therefore, you have to look into whether it is agricultural land, whether it is a residential, or whether it is a commercial. So first of all, the classification of the property. And to check the classification of property from government reports along with the copy of the site plan. We have to look into the site plan, survey number, layout, what is the khasra number, what is the Khatawni number, what is the sanctions plan, identify the property from the adjoining land, what is the left, right, east, west, south, and north the property belongs to. The document should be certified by the officer of the land records. Therefore, to check whether the land is to be used for the agricultural purposes, can be industrial, commercial, or residential purpose. In case of the change of land use, the permission given by the competent government authority and fee paid for the conversion should be checked. So you have to check that if it is the agricultural land, whether that agricultural land has been converted into the residential or not. And once it is converted into the residential, then it requires always certain licenses, certain permissions from the government, and you have to pay the conversion fee as well. So you have to look into that documents as well, whether this property has been converted or not converted. Once it is converted, then what is the conversion fee has been paid or not paid. This is most important thing. To ensure that land is subject to the land acquisition process, you have to also look into that is there any land acquisition proceedings has been done in that particular property. It means that this property has been acquired by the government by notifications. You have to check that. Once you will not check that, in the sometimes I personally found that the person selling the land which belongs to the government, because once the government has acquired the land, it may be sometimes be vacant. So sometimes property dealers sold that property, stating that yes, I am the owner and I'm selling this property. So you should be very aware that once the property is acquired, not required any land acquisitions, you have to look into and you have to clarify, you have to verify that whether any land acquisition order has been passed or not. To check chain up, then will come. Suppose if you want to purchase a property in any area, suppose in the GK, then you have to check the chain of the documents. Chain of the documents in the sense, suppose ABC Limited has purchased this property, then you have to look into the ABC Limited purchased from whom, and from whom this come to the before ABC Limited, then before that, and before that. So there should be some chain of the document. At least you have to verify the documents from last 30 years. If your property is purchasing from the government, and once you are purchasing from the individuals or private parties, then at least you should have a 12 years records. This is only because of that section article 64 and 65 of the Limitation Act says the 12 years for the adverse possessions in the case of the private property, and 30 years in the adverse possessions in the case of the government property. So chain of documents is the very, very important documents. Once you are purchasing the property, you have to collect the chain of the documents. It may be the sale deed, maybe the lease deed, maybe the gift deed, maybe the GPA. To ensure the provisions contained in the title deed do not restrict the right of the owner of the transfer of the property. Once you are purchasing the property and once you are receiving the sale deed, then you should go through on the sale deed. There is no restrictions in the terms and conditions of that sale deed that this property can be sold or not sold. To ensure the property shall be free from all encumbrances. It is very important point that once you are purchasing the property, then you should always ensure that this property is free from all encumbrances. Suppose if any charge, lien, mortgage, or any loan on that particular property, you can check that is there any encumbrances on that particular property. You can insure it from the registrar office. If the property is a joint name, then NOC should be obtained from the co-owners. If suppose if the husband and wife both are the owner of the property, then the both has to be present while selling that property to another, transferring that property to someone else. If husband is present and wife is not present, then it is not the proper transactions. Means transfer of property is not a proper transfer unless and until there is a no objection certificate has been obtained from the wife or relinquishment deed or release deed in the favor of the husband. So once there are 2-3 persons is the owner of that property, all those 2-3 persons has to be present while transferring the property. This is also the important point that once you are purchasing the property, then you have to look into that, yes, who is the owner of property and whether those owners are present while transferring the property or not. To ensure the property duly registered with the registrar, never purchase the property in the GPA. Once the property is registered with the registrar or not, you have to ensure that, because in the GPA, general power of attorney, once the property is in the some of the areas in the Delhi itself, some property is being transferred to the general power of attorney. But the property transferred to general power of attorney is not a legal transfer, because it is not registered with the registrar, and any property which is not registered with the registrar is the not legal property. So it should be very ensured that you should not purchase the property who is transferring the property through GPA only, because you will never know who is the actual owner of this property and how many owners of this property, because the person who is in possession of that particular property is the owner of that property. So we should always be very conscious about transferring the property through GPA. In case of the property is held by Hindu undivided family or is ancestral property, to check the family tree and to verify death certificate or original owner copy of the will, succession certificate, probate obtained from the court, legal heir certificate in the original, registered copy of the partition deed, gift deed, settlement deed, as the case may be. Once it is the case of the ancestral property, then you have to look into it has been transferred from will, it has been transferred from the succession, or it has been transferred from any other mode. Then you have to verify all those documents. First of all, you have to verify the death certificate. And once the property is inherited, then who is the legal heir of that ancestral? If there are 3 brothers, 4 sisters, then you have to look into that. Not only 3 brothers only have a right on ancestral property, but 4 sisters also have the same right in that particular property. And once there are only 3 brothers are selling the property to you, then it is not a value transfer. All those 7 persons has to present while transferring the property. So all these things are very important to consider while purchasing the property, that who is the actual owner of that property. Once you are purchasing the property not from the actual owner, then it is a very difficult situations, and later on anyone can come and say, yes, this is my property and you have illegally purchased this property, then it will be you will be in the very hot soup. In case of property belong to partnership firm, society or trust, to check the copy of the partnership deed and trust deed, you have to go into the trust deed, because in the most of the cases, once the property belongs to the trust, it can only be transferred to the trust. It cannot be transferred to the individual. And once any individual purchasing the property of the trust, then he has to be very cautious that it can be transferred to the individual or not. As per the trust state, that property cannot transfer to the individual. It can be only transferred to another trust. In case of the property is being sold by the official liquidator, the court order authorizing the official liquidator to sell the land or property should be verified. Once you are purchasing any property in the auction, because in certain property has been acquired by the official liquidator appointed by the Honorable High Court. Once the company has been under the liquidations, all the assets and liability of the company has been taken over by the official liquidator, and later on, official liquidators sold that property and realized that amount, and it will be distributed in the shareholders later on. But once you are purchasing the property from the official liquidator, then you have to check the order of the High Court or NCLT, that whether the appropriate order has been passed to sell the property or not. Torrance plans means detailed plan of the property, means it has to be, the said plan consists of mainly of the measurement details, such as what is the length, what is the width, what is the borders. Once you are going to purchase the property, then you have to look into what is the area, length, width, and borders, so that you can identify your property. Whether the property is mutated in the record of the municipal corporation or in Tahsil in the village area. You have to also look into that this property, whatever I am going to purchase, that is in the record of the municipal corporation if it is in the city, or in the record of the Tahsildar if it is in the village area. Then you have to verify that it is recorded property or not recorded. And once it is recorded, it may be possible that the ancestral, suppose my ancestor Mr. So and so, and that may be recorded in the name of my ancestors. But I am selling the property registered in my name, but it is not recorded in my name in the municipal corporation's records. So you have to ensure that yes, who is the person selling the property, who have the clear title in the municipal record or in the office of the Tahsildar or anywhere, so that the clear title should be there. One must make inquiry in the government and municipal offices to ensure whether all the tax has been paid or not. This is also very important, that whatever suppose once you are purchasing the property and sale deed has been executed, but the municipal record has not been verified, and it may be possible there are the certain taxes due are there. It may be in the lakhs of the rupees, because I have the personally feel that once I go for the mutation of the property, then always the municipal corporation officers ask me whether all those taxes have been paid or not. And if it is not paid, then it is presumed that you have to pay from last 2004 onwards. Suppose I want to go for the mutation of the property today in Delhi, then the person will ask from 2004 onwards, you have to show that all the receipts. Once you have the receipts, then it's fine. Once you have not the receipt, even you have paid that taxes, then you have to pay the additional amount from 2004 onwards till today. So you should always ensure that yes, the property which you are going to purchase, that it is already recorded in the municipal corporations, and all the taxes till 2023 has been paid. Otherwise, you have to pay the property and you have to bear the additional cost. Where there are more than one owner of the property, in such cases, it must go no certificate or release certificate, relinquishment deed. What is the relinquishment deed? Relinquishment deed means, suppose if there are the 3-4 brothers, then all those 3-4 brothers have relinquished their rights in the favor of the one brother or one sister. So this is the relinquishment deed. Before going into all those things, I would like to say certain other things. Whatever I have described till our session, basically that there should be the chain documents. I would like to show how we can look into a chain. Kindly see. This is I am sharing with the documents, which is one of my client approached me that yes, he wants to purchase this property. Then I have did the due diligence. while whatever I have discussed. Suppose if you are purchasing a property, suppose this is the property. I'm giving an example. Suppose if you want to purchase this property, and this property belongs to Sri Arun Kumar Tiwari. Suppose if you want to purchase this property from Arun Kumar Tiwari, and this property has been sold from Arun Kumar Tiwari to all those other 6 persons. And once you want to purchase this property, then you have to look into, suppose this property is area I'm measuring 100 square yard, 100 square meters, khasa number so and so, bearing plot bearing number so and so. And once you want to purchase this property, then you have to do the due diligence. So you will ask, yes, give me the sale deed. Please. Please mute because there are the certain disturbances. Yes. Then if you want to purchase this property, then you have to do the due diligences. Due diligences. What is the due diligences? This is the sale deed, and you have to look into the records of the last 30 years. Last 30 years, how it will come? Who is the owner of the last 30 years? Then all those descriptions are given in the sale deed itself. Kindly see. And whereas Sri Arun Kumar Tiwari, son of Sri Nivas Tiwari, is general attorney of Sri Lal Chand, son of so and so, duly attested notary public, Delhi, in 1995. Means before this property, as of now, belongs to Srimati Radha and all. And before Srimati Radha, it belongs to Sri Arun Kumar Tiwari. Then you have to check that this property belongs to Arun Kumar Tiwari, and before Arun Kumar Tiwari, who was the owner of that property in the last 30 years. Then you have to look into that before Arun Kumar Tiwari, this property was belonged to Sri Lal Chand, who was the GPA holder, and how it comes to the Lal Chand. Then the general attorney of Sri Rajrani, it was earlier belongs to the Rajrani, and how it comes to the Rajrani, it comes from the Vidya Devi. Srimati so-and-so, GPA duly attested by so-and-so on 1994, who is also general attorney of Sri Jainarayan, son of so-and-so, Tarachand, via DD number, notary public number dated 16/6/1989. Means more than 30 years record you are looking after, because initially it was property in the 1989 belongs to Sri Tarachand, via duly so-and-so, so-and-so, 1988, who is also general attorney of Sri Pritam Kumar, Gurdeep Singh, general power trustee by Notary Public on 5th February 1998, who is general attorney of Sri Radhe Syam Sharma, son of so-and-so, attested notary dated on 24th November 1982. Means all those records written here from 1982 onwards. So first of all, you have to verify what is how this property come to that person, and that person. These all are the chain of the documents. Then you have to look into all those chain documents. If the person who is selling transferring the property, that he has to provide all those chain documents to you. Once he has provided all those chain documents, then you have to verify all those chain documents. Then you be secure that yes, it is a good enough title. And once you are having this sale deed, so first of all, you have to verify this sale deed from the office of the registrar, and this can be verified from here. This page is very important. Here, especially the registration number 9140 in book number 1, volume number so and so, page number so and so, on this dated so and so. This property has been registered with the registrar on the 3rd August 2022. Then you have to verify from the office of the registrar, sub-registrar 9 New Delhi, that yes, this property has been registered or not registered. How to verify? You have to go to the registrar office. You will ask that yes, who is the concerned clerk is sitting there. You can go and ask, yes, I want to verify this property. Please give me a receipt. You have to pay certain amount, and then he will give a receipt, and once you take the receipt, then you can verify the documents after lunch. There are the certain time prescribed period, and you have to verify those documents, and he will show those documents in their computer. So once he is showing that property in their computer, yes, it is verified that yes, this property is okay and genuine. Then you can purchase this property. And about the chain documents, then all those chain documents are available here. Here is the Lal Chand, who is the general attorney of Srimati Rajrani. And thereafter, all those chain documents are available. And in the same manner, you have to look into the chain documents. Chain documents is a very important document while doing the due diligence. And this is another chain, Sri Rajrani. It comes from the Srimati Vidya Devi. And further, it came from the another person. There is another general power of attorney is there. Yes, it's from the Vidya Devi, general attorney of Sri Jainarayan. And further, it comes to Jainarayan from whom? Yes. Now you can see all those documents are available because I have especially, yes, Ram Nivas, so and so, the general attorney of Sri Pitam Kumar. So all those documents are available here, and this is only for to show that how you can verify the documents. So this is the only an example. I am only showing the example how the property can be verified. You have to have a chain of documents. Once you are having the chain of documents, then you have to verify from the office of the registrar. And once it is verified from the office of the registrar, then you can also check with the records with the municipal corporation that whether it has been mutated in the name of that person is not. Once it is available in the record of the municipal corporation, yes, he is the owner. Then you have to also physically verify that yes, this property is there or not. Without verifying the physically, you should not purchase the property. Go and look into, yes, this property belongs to him and he is the owner. And you should also ask someone, yes, who is the owner of that property, if you can ask. And apart from the documents available, and once everything is okay, then you have to have the original documents as well. Because once the property is the mortgage property and the loan is there on that property, the property original documents lying with the bank. Once it is the original documents lying with the person who is transferring that property, then you can presume that yes, it is free from the all encumbrances. Otherwise, you can also inquire from the office of the registrar, because once the property is the mortgage, there is a specific rubber stamp that yes, this property is mortgage with the available with the registrar. So you can check that whether this property is mortgage or not, because once you are purchasing the property and it is the mortgage or there is a loan on that particular property, and once you transfer that property, then entire loan you have to pay. It means there is a double amount you have to pay. Suppose if you are purchasing the property in 1 crore or suppose 2 crores, and there is a loan of approximately 1 crore, then the entire loan amount has to be bear by you. So you have to very cautious about all those things that before purchasing the property, once you are ensured that yes, property title is okay, there is no encumbrances is there, then you can go and register the property in your name. And immediately after the registering of the property, you should take the possession, because it may be possible that in that particular property there are the certain tenants are there. And once you are purchasing the property and the tenants is not vacating that property, then it is also a very difficult situation for you to vacate that property from the tenant, because sometimes tenants don't want to vacate that property. Those you should also ensure that while registering the property, immediately you should take the physical possessions of that property. Unless and until you have the physical possessions, you are not the owner. So to have a ownership of the property, physical possession is the must. Apart from that, what are the documents are resting in your favor? The registration of the documents, municipal to corporation records, free from all encumbrances, registration of the documents, and physical possessions. So these all are things are required to have the individual property you are purchasing. If any doubts to my friends in respect of that, especially the individual property, then you can discuss for a short while, hardly 5 minutes. Then you will go for the group housing society. Most of our friends, if any of our friends wants to have any questions, discuss anything, please come. Yes, friends.
Yeah, sir. Hi, sir. Good morning. This is Niranjan Pandey.
Yes, yes, please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, audible.
Yes, sir. I am Niranjan Pandey, advocate from Delhi. So
Please.
I have one question
Please.
related with disputed property. So
Yes.
how we can check any property is disputed or not in any courts of India? My first question is this, and
Yes,
my
yes, sir.
second question is this. My second question is that if I am planning to buy any property in Chowri Bazaar,
Yes,
then
sir.
how we can determine that determine ownership of that particular property? Because as per my based on knowledge and my experience, ownership is still not clear in Chowri Bazaar. Because I am planning to buy one shop at Chowri Bazaar.
Please.
So, sir, requesting you to kindly give your guidance pertaining to this matter.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, certainly. Certainly, there are two questions. First of all, whether is there any litigation is pending, then I will answer your question first. If the property and if there is any litigation is pending on that particular property, then you have to check from the site of the website of the different courts. It may be the district court, maybe the high court, maybe the Supreme Court, and maybe from the different years. Suppose if it is a property registered in the year 2023 or 2012 or 2011, then from 2011 onwards, you have to check with the title. Yes, is there any litigation is pending or not pending? Because there is no one straight jacket formula that once you will type the word and all the years property is pending in the disputes will come. No, we have to go and we have to write the name of the owner and year as well. Then you will find if there are any disputes on that particular property, then certainly you will find. This is the first questions. And once the property is in the litigations, then I never suggest that you should purchase that property, because I will come on that. Second question is that once they want to purchase the property in the Chowri Bazaar or anywhere else, first of all, you have to verify the documents. Yes, what are the documents are available? Once it is the documents are the registered documents, then you should purchase the property. Once there is no registered document, then it is not, you cannot verify, because the documents are not available with records are not available with any registrar of the office. It is not registered, because in the certain times in Delhi, most of the property are transferred through GPA. Once you are purchasing the property through the GPA, there is no record available with the registrar. So it is very difficult to verify who is the actual owner of that property. So I always suggest that you should never have purchase a property through GPA, because no records are available with the registrar. If you are purchasing, then it is on the risk. Who is in the possession of that property, who that will be the owner, even though you are having the record of the GPA. It is a disputed property. So you should not purchase that property, because there is no record is available.
Thank you, sir. You have cleared my points.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, please.
This is Advocate शिव त्यागी सर.
Please, good morning.
हाँ सर, मेरे दो क्वेश्चन थे. जैसे अभी आपने डिस्प्यूटेड प्रॉपर्टी में बताया कि डिफरेंट कोर्ट्स में की वेबसाइट पे हमें चेक करना पड़ेगा, तो रजिस्ट्रार ऑफिस में ऐसा कोई डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसमें हम या कोई वहाँ पे इंडिकेशन है जो डिस्प्यूटेड प्रॉपर्टी वहाँ से चेक की जा सकती है? और सेकंड क्वेश्चन,
अच्छा हाँ प्लीज हाँ.
और सेकंड क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है कि इज देयर एनी स्पेसिफिक डॉक्यूमेंट एविडेंसिंग कि भाई इस प्रॉपर्टी पे लोन चल रहा है, जब हम कोई सर्च रिपोर्ट बनाएंगे या कुछ भी?
जी जी जी, जो जिस प्रॉपर्टी पे भी लोन होता है उसके जानने के दो तरीके हैं. एक तरीका तो ये है कि आप उनसे बोलिए कि इस डॉक्यूमेंट्स के मेरे को ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट दीजिए आप.
ओके.
क्योंकि ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट जब प्रॉपर्टी पे लोन होता है, वो ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट हमेशा बैंक के पास मोर्टगेज रहता है।
यस भाई, हाँ।
वो ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट उनके पास नहीं रहेगा।
ओके
अगर ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट्स उनके पास नहीं है तो आप ये समझ जाइए कि ये प्रॉपर्टी मोर्टगेज है। वो
ओके।
किसी भी बहाने से कहते हैं कि मेरा गुम हो गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, तो अगर गुम हो गया है तो उनका उसके खिलाफ जो है एनसीआर कटी होगी या उसके खिलाफ कोई
FIR वगैरह।
एफआईआर हुई होगी, उसको आप जरूर वेरीफाई कीजिए।
ओके।
और अगर कोई प्रॉपर्टी मोर्टगेज भी होती है तो रजिस्ट्रार के ऑफिस में भी उस प्रॉपर्टी के अगेंस्ट एक स्टैंप लगा रहता है कि दिस प्रॉपर्टी इज द मोर्टगेज प्रॉपर्टी। वो प्रॉपर्टी का डिटेल्स आप वहां से भी आप पता कर सकते हैं।
और ये फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो डिस्प्यूटेड
और
वाला,
फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन था डिस्प्यूटेड वाला, जो भी अगर प्रॉपर्टी किसी भी लिटिगेशन में चल रही है तो आपको उस प्रॉपर्टी के पहले डॉक्यूमेंट्स उनसे लेने हैं, उनके चेन लेने हैं। चेन के हिसाब से आपको जो है, क्योंकि आजकल जो है हर जगह जो है वेबसाइट्स पे सारे जो है नाम और ईयर डालेंगे तो आपको रिकॉर्ड निकल के आ जाएगा
ओके।
कि इस नाम से इस ईयर में अगर कोई केस हुआ है तो वो उसका टाइटल निकल के आ जाएगा
कोर्ट्स की वेबसाइट।
कोर्ट्स की वेबसाइट पे।
यस।
तो आपको ये पता करना पड़ेगा कि भाई अगर जहाँ की प्रॉपर्टी होती है लिटिगेशन वहीं होता है। सपोज अगर आपकी प्रॉपर्टी जो है ईस्ट ऑफ कैलाश की है तो मोस्ट ऑफ द ईस्ट ऑफ कैलाश का जुडिक्शन या तो साकेत होगा या पटियाला हाउस होगा।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
ये प्रॉपर्टी का डिस्प्यूट साकेत में होगा या मतलब एक ही जगह होगा, या तो साकेत होगा पटियाला, दो जगह नहीं हो सकता।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
जितने भी डिस्प्यूट्स जाएंगे उसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट में जाएंगे।
हाँ, जुरिडिक्शन मतलब हम
जुडिक्शन,
check करना।
हाँ जुडिक्शन चेक करना पड़ेगा। और जब भी आपने प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने हैं, जब भी प्रॉपर्टी का जो चेन लिया है उस साल से आगे तक के सालों का आप रिकॉर्ड चेक कर सकते हैं। अगर वो प्रॉपर्टी जो है 2 करोड़ से ऊपर की है या पहले जो है 20 लाख का था, 20 लाख से ऊपर की है, अब स्वाभाविक सी बात है कि स्टाफ कैलाश में प्रॉपर्टी तो 20 लाख से ऊपर की ही होगी इस प्रिज्यूम। तो उसको फिर आप हाई कोर्ट में ईयर वाइज चेक कर सकते हैं। वो आपको जो है जो भी आप प्रोफेशनल हायर करेंगे या खुद आप प्रोफेशनल हैं, यू आर हिमसेल्फ ए प्रोफेशनल, तो आप खुद वेबसाइट पे जाइए और उसको जो है ईयर वाइज चेक कीजिए, आपको पता लग जाएगा कि इस प्रॉपर्टी के अगेंस्ट कोई डिस्प्यूट है या नहीं।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। Is there any other questions? Then we will move further. Anyone of my friends wants to any questions? No. Then yes. Then we will come into on the group housing society. Suppose if you want to purchase a group flats or commercial properties in the group housing society, then you have to look into, there are the different criteria is somewhat different, because once any builders construct the group housing society, then he always purchase the property from the agricultural land, because group housing society is mainly it is 12 acres, 13 acres, or more than 20 acres. So all those land banks can be purchased from the mostly from the kisan, so farmers, mostly from the farmers. So that property initially is the agricultural property. So first of all, you have to look into that whether this property is agricultural property. If it is the agricultural property, then the person who are selling that property has converted this land into the residential or commercial. There are the certain licenses are required to convert that from agricultural to residential. So first of all, you have to look into that license. That license is available with the builder or not. First and foremost thing. Second thing, you have to look into that once he is constructing or he is building that residential building, then whether he has the license from the environmental clearances. It is mandatory to have the environmental clearances certificate from the concerned department. Third thing, that he have to take a license, consent to establish for pollution of air pollution and water pollution. You have to take the license that while constructing that multi-story building, there should be no air pollution, there should be no water pollution. This is the third license required. Once all those licenses are required, then another license is required to construct a building. Suppose if it is 13 floor, 12 floor, 15 floor, 20 floors, it may be any floors, then it is a license is required to construct that building. and there should be some approved map. So then you have to look into those approved maps as well, and those approval of licenses as well. And once the construction commences, then it takes always 4-5 years at least minimum. And once the construction is completed, then always, first of all, you have to have a completion certificate. Completion certificate means your project has been completed. It is completion certificate may be received tower wise. Suppose there are the 10 towers A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and if it only 4 towers are being completed, then you can have a completion certificate. And thereafter, at last, you will have an occupation certificate. Occupation certificate, it shows that the entire project has been completed in all respects, and the builder is in a position to give the occupation to the LOPs. So these are documents are essentially required to look into. Suppose if you want to purchase a property in any group housing society, then first of all, you have to look into that whether the agricultural land is converted into the residential or commercial. Second is pollution, consent to establish a pollution from air and water. Third thing, environmental clearances. Fourth, completion certificate. Fifth, occupation certificate. These all are documents you have to look into, and approved map and building plan. These all are the documents are essentially required to look into. Once the builder is providing all these documents, then and only you should purchase the property. And you should, while entering into the agreement with the builder, now RERA come into the force, there is a standard agreement you have to put to the signatures, but at least you should read the documents very carefully. You should go through, because once you are signing the documents, it is very clearly written that yes, you have gone and understood each and every terms and conditions of that agreement. Because most of the cases, that agreement is approximately 35 to 50 pages. But at least the relevant conditions you have to read. First and foremost conditions, that is the possession. When you are going to take the possessions, it may be 3 years, 4 years, or maybe 5 years, subject to another terms and conditions. Then you have to go through the when you are going to occupy that flat. Because my personal experience is that in the most of the cases, builders are not able to deliver the possession within the time. So always it is a delay, maybe 6 months, maybe 7 months, maybe 1 year, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years. Because it is my personal experience that because I mostly deals with the matters of the real estate matters. So most of the projects are delayed projects. So person who is investing their crores of the rupees, he should always due diligence has to be done. Once they will not did their due diligence before entering the property, then it is a very difficult situations for him. The entire amount has been washed out, because in the most of the persons invested their amount, and they keep on changing the builders that yes, give me the possessions. The builders neither give the possession nor handing over the possession. It is very difficult situation for the LOT, and they roam around court from hither to thither, and it is very difficult situation. So before entering into the contract, before going to purchase the property, you should do a due diligence. I will show certain documents, what are the documents are required, whatever I have discussed. Due diligence in the cases of due diligence in case of the group housing society. In case of the property belongs to the company, then check the memorandum and article of associations, because once the in the group housing society, in the most of the cases, company purchase the property from the farmers. So we have to look into the memorandum and articles of the association. And in the case of the company is the artificial persons, then the property is purchased only through the board resolutions. The company authorizing a person to purchase that property, then you have to look into that the board resolution. So the competent person purchase that property, resolution passed by the board of the directors, shareholders under the Companies Act. It may be 1956, maybe 2013, authorizing sale of the property. Inspection should be also be done at the office of the registrar of the company. The registered office of the company is situated to ensure that property has not been mortgaged, charge created under the Companies Act 2013 in favor of any financial institutions, bank, debentures, trustees through filing of the relevant forms. This should also ensure that whatever the documents are mortgaged or not mortgaged. So you have to check all those things. We have already discussed. You check the license from setting up the group housing society. Once you are checking, I've already discussed the license for the setting of the group housing colony, consent for established with the respect to the pollution control of water and air, environment clearance for the construction of the group housing project, completion certificate, occupancy certificate, lease deed executed by the company, because whenever in the group housing society, it is always on the lease, because the property belongs to the government, and those governments executed a lease deed in favor of that particular builder, and that particular builder later on executed the conveyance deed in favor of the allotee. So I will also show there are the certain documents. Then it is only for the idea which type of the documents are available. Suppose if you want, first of all, you have to take a license. This is the license issued by Town and Country Planning, so and so, so and so. If it is in Haryana, then it is the applicable. It may be differ from the different states to different states. This is the license for the group housing society, and in this another thing, that the consent to establish the pollution. We are only talking about the property at the Haryana, because it belongs to the Haryana. Then consent to establish from the pollution angle, consent to or establish with respect to the pollution control of water and air. Such type of the certificates are available. You have to look into, yes, this certificate is available with the builder or not while purchasing the property. And another thing, that environmental clearance certificate, I will also show. This is the environmental clearance certificate. Yes, this is the environmental clearance certificate. This type of the environmental clearance from the construction of the group housing project, so and so, so and so, so and so. So this is the environmental clearance certificate. And later on, once everything is clear, then you will receive the completion certificate, and thereafter you will receive the occupation certificate. Occupation certificate clarify that yes, you can give this is the occupation certificate. Director Town and Country Planning issues so and so, so and so. Yes, it is authorizing that yes, you can give the possession to anyone else. So these are the documents are required to check whether the property is a good property for purchase or not. So once you will go through, and you should go through the entire set of the documents. Again, you will come on the group housing society. Then in some cases, once the individually group housing society, and there are the certain different types of the cases. In some cases, the seller may not be physically present to sell the property and might appoint the agent with the power of attorney. In some types of the cases, suppose I am not personally available, then I can give this special power of attorney to someone else to sell that property on my behalf. Then that special power of attorney has to be registered with the registrar. You have to look into and verify that whether the person who is selling the property is duly authorized by that particular person who is the owner of that property. This is also very important. Once that document, special power of attorney, is not registered with the registrar, then that is not a valid document, and he cannot transfer that property on the basis of the only notarization document or special power of attorney. So it is also very important. And in the case of the owner is the NRI, and the power of attorney has been executed in the foreign country, the power of attorney should be notarized before the Indian consulate for the purpose of the authentications, and thereafter it is to be attested by the sub-registrar of the area concerned. In order to safeguard against the subsequent third-party claims, it is advisable to give a public notice by way of advertisement, inviting objections if any before the purchase of the property. The above checklist is only illustrative and not exhaustive, since some more areas may need to be looked into the depending upon the nature of the transactions. I have already discussed that this is the inclusive list. This is not exhaustive, maybe something else. Then we will go for the investigation of the property or residential or commercial complexes. These we have already discussed. Whatever the documents, scrutiny of the legal documents, nature of the agreement, whether persons having interest in the property, all those persons present while transferring the property, examination of the apartment, sanction plan, municipal authorities with regard to the permitted area, total area, common area, parking lots, payment charges, and you have to also look into the electricity and water connection charges. And once you are purchasing the property, then you have to also look into the what are the electricity charges, water connection charges due on that particular property. And you should also physically inspect the property and physical possession immediately after possession. Once it is a property belongs to the society, then you have to look into the bylaws of that society. Bylaws, rules, and regulations of the society must be checked. Further, it must be checked if the society is formed only for the particular class of the persons, and restrictions, if any, in the sale or transfer of flat by such member. Title in course of the litigation property. Whatever my learned friends already asked the questions in the litigation of the property we were discussing here. Ideally, a person titles in court litigation property. Ideally, a person should refrain from buying a lawsuit property subject to the investigation of the facts of the case, rights of the parties, legal implication, etc., for ascertaining the probable success of the litigations. However, one may purchase such property after obtaining permission by the concerned court, because there are the certain properties which are taken by the DRT. Then the DRT give the options of that property. Then in that property, you have to look into that what is the order has been passed and what are the consequences of that purchase of the property. Then you have to look into in detail. You can also purchase that property, but yes, there are the certain restrictions. You have to look into that. Lis pendency. Lis pendens means anything pending before the court. Section 52 of the transfer of the property is based on the principles during pendency. Pending litigations, nothing new should be added. During pending litigation, nothing new should be added. Meaning thereby that when litigation is pending, no party to the suit can alienate or deal with the suit property so as to affect its title. Our mere pendency doesn't prevent the parties from dealing with the suit property. It is just condition that such act will not affect the rights of the property. Once there is any suit is pending and there is a stay in the property, then you should not purchase that property, because once you will purchase that property, you will be in a hot soup. Elements of the lis pendens: suit must be pending, must not be collusive, right in movable property must be directly in question, must be a transfer or dealing with the property by other party. Transfer must affect the rights of the other party. Importance of registrations: every documents once you are purchasing the property, it has to be registered. Without registration, it is not valid. Advantage: the another we have already discussed about the individually and group housing society. Then we will discuss what is the pros and cons. Pros means what is the benefits of that due diligence. It mitigates risk, means there are the minimum risk. Conducting due diligence on the property helps identify potential risk and issues associated with the property, allowing buyers or investors to make informed decisions and mitigate potential risk before making purchase or investment. There are the minimum risks. Yes, whatever the amount you are invested, that amount is safe. Legal compliance: due diligence ensure compliance with the legal requirements, regulations, and permits associated with the property, helping avoid legal disputes, penalties, or non-compliance issues in the future. Means there are the certain, once you are doing the due diligence, certainly it is a legal compliance and there are the certain less risk. Financial analysis: evaluating the financial aspects of the property during due diligence helps assess its income potential, expenses, cash flow, and return on investment. Suppose if you are doing the due diligence, what is the property? Suppose if it is near to the Delhi NCR, of course, after 10, 15 years, it is going to very high. So it is your financial decision and financial analysis that yes, it will go high. Then you can invest the amount. It allows buyers or investors to make realistic financial projections and determine if the property aligns with their investment activities. Property valuations, due diligence helps ascertaining the fair market value of the property by considering factors such as comparable sales, rental, market rents, and property conditions. This enables buyers or investors to negotiate a fair price of the property, identify hidden issues. Thorough due diligence can uncover hidden issues or defects in the property. If there is a defect in the property, then only through the due diligence you can identify that defects, such as structural problems, environmental hazards, title discrepancies, or undisclosed liability. Identify these issues beforehand allows buyers or investors to factor in the associated cost and make informed decisions. Consequences of the improper, it is a pros that yes, your amount is safe. You are safe from the litigations and all those things. Once you didn't do the proper due diligence, then what is the harms? I'm just giving an example, one or two examples. That post-acquisitions and the merger, all financial risks of the target company are passed to the acquirer. Due to inadequate due diligence process, the buyer may be heavily penalized and can be made financially liable for the past non-compliances of the target company under the sector-based laws. Foreign investment laws, companies law, SEBI regulations, RBI guidelines, or any other applicable law, since M&A transactions, merger and amalgamation transactions are generally exorbitant prices. A failed acquisitions or merger can negate the value of the proposed transactions and can even result in the financial ruin of the acquirer. I'm giving an example. In 1998, the German company Diligence merged into the Chrysler Group for a value of 36 billion. However, the merger was not successful and the value of the Chrysler fell to $7.4 billion after a couple of years. According to the various experts, Dalmer failed to conduct a proper due diligence process, which resulted in the overvaluations of the target property. Once you are not doing the due diligence, this is the always harm that yes, your amount is going. You cannot save your invested amount. So it is a very difficult that you have invested crores of the rupees and it has been entire amount has been washed out. Then it is a very difficult situation for you. Therefore, due diligence should be the proper due diligence. Another example is in September 2008, UAE-based SEC required 45% stakes in the Indian telecom operations, 2G scams, and for a year later, Supreme Court of India revoked 2G scam licenses, 2G licenses awarded to the Swam Telecom. We all are aware from the 2G licenses. Due to impropriety in obtaining the license, the due diligence process carried out by the STLET failed to detect any impropriety in obtaining telecom licenses. It is STLET faced significant financial losses up to $827 million and later took the exit from the company. Thereafter, it is STLET issued legal proceeding against the promoters of the Swan Telecom on the grounds of the fraud and misrepresentation. Once you are not doing the proper due diligence, there is therefore always a loss, and you have to bear that loss. So, friends, once you are purchasing any property, then 100% you have to do the proper due diligence so that whatever the amount you are investing, that should be in the safe hand. So all are the discussions, what are the pros and cons, and what is the benefits, what is the disadvantage. So all those things are there, whatever I have discussed. Now, what are the litigations are the pending, once there is litigation pending in the property. And another things for the professionals, hardly take a minute please, that my professional colleagues, once you are doing the due diligence, then you should also prepare a report. So what should be the format of the report that I'm sharing within a minute? This is the format. you should provide all those informations. Suppose I am doing the due diligence, it is assigned to me, then you should provide all those informations to your client in this format, that yes, we will start with what is the background of what is the scope of work, what is the methodology, what is the structure of the report, list of the documents submitted and perused, what are the office visited, what are the documents you have inspected. These has to be mentioned. We have visited the online search available with the MCA portal. What are the encumbrances in the case of the company? You have to go to the MCA portal with the concerned registrar of the company. Inspection of the official municipal corporation of Delhi or somewhere else. Inspection of the offices of the land acquisitions. Inspection of the offices of the DDA, Delhi Development Authority, or any other authority. Devolution of the title, agricultural land ceiling, land use development approvals, possession, who is in the possessions, what is the due and amount is outstanding, confirmation on the title documents, property stamped and registered, approval, NOC required for the mortgage, status of the custody of the original title documents at the time of the submission of the report, who is the actual custodian of that particular property and that particular document, non-incumbency certificate, recommendation, conclusion, and list of the documents attached. Once you are giving this legal scrutiny report or due diligence report, then you have to cover all those things, and whatever the documents you have inspected, you should also annex with those due diligence report the documents that yes, these documents have been prepared and these documents had been inspected. So, friends, probably I am able to cover all those things. You should prepare a due diligence report. At the end, you should hand over your client. This is one of the good area for the practice. Certainly, if any my learned friends have any questions in any respects, then please, most welcome. Now I will invite to all of our friends, please open your videos, and so that we can, because it is a platform where it is a one-way communication most of the cases. Therefore, I always try to be interactive, so that I take the half an hour for one session and another question session, so that the session can be alive. And after half an hour, the another question and session. So certainly, most of the friends, any of the friends wants to any questions, please, most welcome.
Sir, this is Niranjan Pandey again.
Yes,
I
please.
have one question related
Yes.
with group housing society.
Please,
It is called as Niti Bagh and
Yes.
located in South Delhi area.
please.
So I have one question related with buying selling process, because Niti Bagh group housing society is specifically for lawyers, and if any lawyers who is having possession of that particular flat or property,
Please.
who is selling his right to any third person who is not a lawyer, then
Please.
what will be consequences?
Yes, once in the case of the society you have discussed, there are the certain rules and regulations made by that particular society. That
Because I am interrupting,
Yes.
as my best of knowledge,
Yes.
group housing society is covered by bylaws.
Yes,
Because
of
Niti
course.
Bagh is specifically, it's a group housing society for lawyers only. And now any lawyers who is having right, he's selling his right to any third person who is not a lawyer. Then what will be consequences? And this deal is going to happen now. So that's why I'm asking this question
Yes,
from
yes,
you.
I'm answering your questions. I'm answering your questions. First of all, I would like to clarify that the group housing society is always not for only meant for the society. It is always for available for the, suppose the builders are like as a DLF, Unity. These are also constructing the DLF societies, means multi-story buildings. Then it is always available for someone else also. But specific to the society, there are because in the case of the society, there are the persons coming, the members of the society coming together and pool their money, and they started constructions. And always society have a certain rules and regulations, and all the members of the society is bound by that bylaws. They cannot go beyond that. They cannot travel beyond that. Once it is written in the bylaws that yes, this society is specially meant for the advocates, and only the advocate can enter into them, can be the member of this society, then the only and only advocate can be the member. Once it is selling to the another persons, he has another person who is not an advocate, not has a clear title of that property, and he will be in the hot soup later on, because anyone can eject him from that society. Yes, because you are not fulfilling that criteria, therefore you are not entitled for that. Because you have to follow the rules and regulations and bylaws of the society.
Thank you, sir. Deeply obliged. It means, as per my understanding, this
Yes.
deal is totally, fraudulent activity, which has been done by our one of our friend who is a lawyer.
Yes, yes, of course, he cannot sell the property to the another lawyer. Yes, yes, please.
हाँ सर, एक्चुअली मेरे फर्दर 2 क्वेश्चंस हैं।
हाँ, प्लीज, मोस्ट वेलकम।
पहला क्वेश्चन ये है सर, व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू डू डिलिजेंस और सर्च रिपोर्ट भी बोलते हैं अबाउट एनी प्रॉपर्टी,
जी
तो हमें एक्चुअली लोकल लैंग्वेज में, जैसे मैं ग्रेटर नोएडा में रहता हूँ, यहाँ पे 12 साला बोलते हैं, 12 साला।
हाँ जी, ठीक है,
12
12
साला
साल
मीन्स
ठीक।
ओनली वी कवर 12 इयर्स।
जी जी, ठीक है।
तो हमें मैक्सिमम कितने साल अपनी सर्च रिपोर्ट में या ड्यू डिलिजेंस रिपोर्ट में कवर करने चाहिए?
जी, मैंने वही बताया था, आर्टिकल 64 और आर्टिकल 65 ऑफ द लिमिटेशन एक्ट कहता है कि जो अगर प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी है उसका एडवर्स पोजीशन का 12 साल है, और गवर्नमेंट प्रॉपर्टी है उसका एडवर्स पोजीशन का 30 साल है।
यस।
तो अगर आप जो है प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी अगर कोई खरीदने जा रहे हैं तो 12 साल सफिस है, लेकिन मैक्सिमम केयर करने के लिए आप 30 साल का कर सकते हैं।
30 साल
मैक्सिमम
ठीक,
30 साल।
ओके
और 30 साल का अगर आप करके देते हैं किसी को, तो दैट इज अप टू द मार्क।
ओके।
12 साल
Thank
में
you.
भी काम चल जाएगा, लेकिन 30 साल करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा होगा।
हाँ, माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सर, एक बहुत एक्चुअली सुप्रीम कोर्ट की डिसीजन भी आई थी उसके बारे में,
प्लीज
और उसके बाद उसका क्रिटिसिज्म भी हुआ था
जी
एग्रीमेंट टू सेल के बारे में।
जी जी जी
एग्रीमेंट टू सेल जो है, अब जैसे कि नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि व्हेन यू आर, दो बंदे जब डील कर रहे हैं आपस में, तो एग्रीमेंट टू सेल पहले बनता है, 10% बुकिंग पे वो जो है एग्रीमेंट हो जाता है।
जी जी।
उस इन दैट केस उसको हमने रजिस्टर कराना चाहिए या नहीं कराना चाहिए? अगर देर इज कोई हर्डल होती है स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, उसका क्या टेनेबल है, कोर्ट उसको एंटरटेन करेगा या नहीं करेगा? मेरे ख्याल आप इसको वेल नोन होंगे, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में
हाँ,
डिसीजन भी
बिल्कुल
आई।
बिल्कुल 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 बिल्कुल। देखिए, कोई भी एग्रीमेंट टू सेल होता है, जितने भी बिल्डर बायर एग्रीमेंट होते हैं, वो नॉर्मली रजिस्टर नहीं होते नॉर्मली, क्योंकि जो आज की डेट में जो है, जो भी अगर आप प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने चाहते हैं वो रेरा के द्वारा रेगुलराइज, और रेरा के द्वारा जहां भी रेरा का है वहां पे एक स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट एग्रीमेंट का बना हुआ है,
ओके
उसके वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल है, और कोई भी बिल्डर उसी जो है एग्रीमेंट के साथ ही इंटर करेगा, उसके अलावा बाहर नहीं जा सकता।
ओके।
तो आप अगर रजिस्टर कराएं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, अगर नहीं भी कराएं तो भी वैलिड।
वो भी वैलिड इन द कोर्ट्स ना?
हाँ, यस सर, ऑफ कोर्स इट इज वैलिड इन द कोर्ट।
हाँ, मेरा इसी से वही है कि जब दो रजिस्टर, सपोज देयर इज अ रजिस्टर्ड प्रॉपर्टी, और रजिस्टर्ड जो बंदा है जो वो उसको सेल परचेज कर रहा है, उसकी नेक्स्ट सेलिंग कर रहा है, इन दैट केस भी जब हम जब वहां पे डीलिंग होती है तो फर्स्ट 10% पे एग्रीमेंट टू सेल बन जाता है।
ठीक है।
देन आप फर्दर 2 मंथ्स में फिर वो रजिस्ट्री हो जाती है, बैलेंस पेमेंट जो है रजिस्ट्री के टाइम पे पेमेंट हो जाती है।
जी जी।
तो जो 10% वाला जो मैं एग्रीमेंट टू सेल पहले वाला बनाऊंगा वो वैलिड होगा? अगर
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल वैलिड होगा, बिल्कुल वैलिड होगा, क्योंकि नॉर्मली एग्रीमेंट टू सेल जो है रजिस्ट्रेबल डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है, और लोग रजिस्टर नहीं भी कराते हैं तो भी वैलिड होता है, क्योंकि हमने दो लोगों में मिल के दिया कि हम इस टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन पे हम ये करेंगे।
यस यस
एग्रीमेंट टू सेल का मतलब ये होता है कि हम ये आगे करेंगे।
यस यस, दैट्स व्हाई
उसके
आई एम।
हाँ, और उसको करने के लिए जो है दो पार्टी इंटर करती है एग्रीमेंट, उसमें जो भी 100 रुपए का स्टैम्प पेपर लगाइए, साइन कीजिए, वो वैलिड डॉक्यूमेंट है।
उसको नोटराइज करा दें।
नोटराइज करा दीजिए,
यस
रजिस्टर नहीं भी कराएंगे तो भी वैलिड है। उसके
ओके।
बाद जब सेल डीड होती है तो सेल डीड का रजिस्ट्रेशन होना मैंडेटरी है।
हाँ, वो सेल डीड,
हाँ
बट वो समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि एग्रीमेंट टू सेल करने के बाद फिर जो है सेलर जो है नेग्लेक्ट कर देता है, वो टर्न्स हॉस्टाइल और
हाँ, तो
समथिंग।
देखिए वो तो दोनों तरफ से हो
दैट
सकता
केस,
है, बायर नेग्लेक्ट करता है, कई बार सेलर नेग्लेक्ट करता है, सेलर नेग्लेक्ट करता है
हाँ
तो आप इसको इन्फोर्स करा सकते हैं, क्योंकि जो भी
एनफोर्समेंट।
हाँ एग्रीमेंट टू सेल इज वैलिड,
यस
उसको इन्फोर्स करा सकते हैं कि आप इस कंडीशन पे आपने मुझे ये बोला था लेकिन आपने नहीं किया, या तो मेरे पैसे वापस दे दीजिए, या इंटरेस्ट सहित वापस दीजिए, या डबल दीजिए, उसमें लिखा रहता है जो भी टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन दैट इज वैलिड।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, ये आपने बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक आज चूज किया सर। इट्स
जी
वेरी
जी, बहुत
हॉट
बहुत
टॉपिक एज पर द दिल्ली दिल्ली एनसीआर इज कंसर्न।
जी जी
एंड
जी
सबसे ज्यादा जो कोर्ट्स में और जो है आजकल बड़ा ये टॉपिक चल रहा है प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड।
नहीं देखिए, मेरा अपना अनुभव है कि भाई जब जब भी हम हमारे पास लोग आते हैं तो कई बार जो है वो कई बार कैश का सौदा कर लेते हैं, कई बार जीपीए पे प्रॉपर्टी
Yes, sir.
ट्रांसफर कर लेते हैं।
Yes,
जब वो
sir.
कैश का सौदा कर लेते हैं फिर मेरे पास आते हैं, मैंने उसको 40 लाख रुपए कैश दे दिए, क्योंकि भाई कैश का तो कोई वैसे ट्रांजेक्शन का कोई वैल्यू नहीं रखता है जी। मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में आज की डेट में दिल्ली एनसीआर में जो लोग कैश के सौदे ज्यादा कर रहे हैं। अगर
Yes,
60 लाख की प्रॉपर्टी होगी तो 20 लाख नकद दिखाएंगे, 40 लाख कैश देंगे। कई बार कैश का सौदा फंस जाता है,
Okay.
तो कैश
Thank
में
you,
तो
sir.
कभी सौदा करना ही नहीं चाहिए। मोस्ट वेलकम, आपने बहुत अच्छे सवाल पूछे और
Thank you, sir. Thank you so nice.
आनंद आया
सर
आपका।
सर मुझे एक सवाल पूछना है।
हाँ प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज।
सर मुझे एक चीज पूछनी है कि ये जो सेल ऑफ एग्रीमेंट बनता है,
एग्रीमेंट टू
यूजुअली
सेल।
क्या होती है कि हाँ एग्रीमेंट टू सेल जैसे बनते हैं अभी, तो सर
जी, जी।
इसे जब यूजुअली क्या करती हैं, पार्टी दो पार्टी से बनाती हैं, तो वो यूजुअली जब आप उसे बेचने जाते हो तो एक प्रॉपर्टी डीलर साहब बीच में बैठा हुआ होता है और वो 100 रुपए के स्टैम्प पेपर पे उस एग्रीमेंट को बना लेता है।
जी जी ठीक।
अब सपोज करो सर आप एक प्रॉपर्टी बेच रहे हो 1 करोड़ रुपए की
हम्म
और उसका एग्रीमेंट जो है वो बन गया 100 रुपए पे।
हम्म
तो 100 रुपए पे बनने वाला जो एग्रीमेंट है उसकी जो वैलिडिटी है या उसकी जो मान्यता रहेगी कोर्ट की नजरों में
हम्म
या कानून की नजरों में, वो सर वो कितनी रहती है?
बिल्कुल रखिए,
1 करोड़।
क्योंकि देखिए वो
अच्छा।
जो है ना वो अभी एग्रीमेंट टू सेल है। एग्रीमेंट टू
हाँ
सेल है कि मैं अभी आगे कुछ करूंगा।
हाँ हाँ
एग्रीमेंट टू सेल का मतलब यही होता है कि मैं इस टर्म्स कंडीशंस पे आगे करूंगा।
हाँ हाँ हाँ
मतलब जैसे मान ले अभी मैं 1 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी है, मैं आपको 10 लाख रुपए अभी दे रहा हूँ, 90 लाख रुपए
हाँ
आपको 3 महीने में दे दूंगा, 4 महीने में दूंगा, और जब मैं आपको 90 लाख दूंगा तो आप मुझे अपनी प्रॉपर्टी का सेल डीड कराएंगे। यही
राइट
टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन होती है। और वो
राइट
अगर मान लीजिए आपने 10 लाख रुपए दे दिया, वो अगर प्रॉपर्टी आपकी रजिस्टर नहीं कराता आपके नाम पे 3 महीने में, 90 लाख लेने के बाद भी, तो आप वो
राइट
इन्फोर्सिबल है, आप पूरे पैसे उसे वापस मांग सकते हैं या स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस में भी जा सकते हैं कि भाई इसका स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस इस एग्रीमेंट का किया जाए और वो मुझे प्रॉपर्टी रजिस्टर करेंगे, मैं पैसे देने के लिए तैयार हूँ।
राइट सर।
तो वैलिड एग्रीमेंट है,
थैंक यू
100 पे भी एग्रीमेंट टू सेल वैलिड वैलिड है।
थैंक यू सर। थैंक यू
चलिए, बड़ा अच्छा सवाल रहा है आपका।
सर।
प्लीज सभी साथी हमारे जो है एक बार स्विच ऑन, कैमरा स्विच ऑन कर लें, जिससे हम तो कम से कम फेसेस तो देख लें। चलिए जी, बड़ी अच्छी बात है।
Sir, I am really sorry, sir. This is Niranjan Pandey. I am
Yes,
not
sir,
able
please.
to, open my camera.
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं। जो नहीं कर सकते उसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, जो कर सकते हैं तो जरूर एक बार करें। दीपक जी, आप भी कुछ सवाल एक्सपेक्टेड रहता हम तो।
Sir, I have also one question.
हाँ हाँ प्लीज।
If any dispute arises between the LOT and builders, then where we should file the complaint, or what are the another remedies or available?
If there is a dispute arising between the LRT and builder, you have to look into that whether the property is situated, or if you want to go into the consumer disputes, then you have to look into whether the LOT is residing, because as per the Consumer Protection Act, the LOT has an options to file a complaint where he resides. And once you want to go for the RERA, then you have to look into that where the property is situated. It has to depends. It depends if you want to go for the civil court, if you want to go for the consumer, if you want to go for the RERA, if you want to go for the NCLT. If you want to go for the NCLT, then the registered office of the company where you want to file a case against whom. Suppose if it is ABC Limited and his registered office in the Chandigarh, then you have to file the NCLT case at Chandigarh. And suppose once you are here in Delhi, one wants to file a complaint against any builder, then you can file a case under Consumer Protection Act in Delhi. And if it is the property situated in the Bhiwadi, then you have to file a case in the RERA at Jaipur. So in the different forums, different jurisdictions. Then you have to look into whether where you want to go. You want to go for which fora or which courts. It depends.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And sir, one more question: if we are going to file before the RERA authority against the builder, then how we know that this property is registered under the RERA?
This property registered with the RERA or not, it is available on the website of the RERA. Go into the website of the RERA. All the builders registered with the RERA are available there, and their project is also registered there. We will find yes, what are the registered project, you will find that project is registered, you can file a case. All the website, all the documents are available with the RERA once it is registered project.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable question. Yes, Man Singh ji, you are most welcome.
Hello.
Namaskar ji. Yes, please.
हेलो
Yes, yes, please बोलिए.
सर, लीज डीडी के केस में जहाँ पे स्टेक हाई इन्वॉल्व होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे क्लाइंट ने रिजोर्ट लिया है लीज डीड पे, राइट? तो उस केस में भी हमें टाइटल सर्च. हेलो,
कौन बोल रहे हैं सर आप?
सर दीपक बोल रहा हूँ सर.
हाँ दीपक जी प्लीज. हाँ,
लीज डीडी के केस में जिसमें हाई स्टेक इन्वॉल्व है उसमें भी हमें प्रॉपर्टी सर्च करनी चाहिए या लीज एग्रीमेंट ही इनफ है उसमें?
नहीं देखिए, जब भी आप कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी लेने जा रहे हैं, चाहे लीज पे भी लेने जा रहे हैं, तो लीज पे भी आपको वही सर्च करना चाहिए, क्योंकि लीज पे लेने जा रहे हैं सबसे पहले आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि उसका टाइटल क्लियर है नहीं. जिसको आप जो है जिसके साथ लीज पे इंटर करने जा रहे हैं उसके पास क्लियर टाइटल है या नहीं. अगर उसके पास क्लियर टाइटल नहीं है, वो आपसे जो है लीज एग्रीमेंट इंटर कर लिया, लीज रजिस्टर भी करा लिया, आपसे पैसे भी ले लिए, कल जब आप उसका पोजीशन लेने जाएं तो आपको पता लगा कि जो है वो क्लियर टाइटल था ही नहीं, वो उसकी प्रॉपर्टी ही नहीं थी, तब तो फिर बात आपको बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्टी होगी ना. क्योंकि जैसे मोस्ट ऑफ द बिजनेस जो डिसीजन होते हैं कॉर्पोरेट्स के, वो जो प्रॉपर्टी लीज पे लेते हैं मोस्ट ऑफ द 9 ईयर 10 ईयर 12 ईयर्स के लिए लेते हैं. मिनिमम जो मेरा रिकॉर्ड है कि 9 ईयर्स के लिए लेते हैं, उसके बाद फर्दर रिन्यूअल होता है. तो जो आदमी 9 ईयर्स के लिए लेता है और जो 9 ईयर्स के लिए लीज पे लेता है, उसको वो मैंडेटरी रजिस्ट्रेबल होता है.
राइट सर.
तो जब उसका रजिस्टर कराता है तो उसके लिए आपको ड्यूटी भी पे करनी पड़ती है. कई जगह 3% है, कई जगह 2% है, कई जगह 1% है, स्टेट टू स्टेट वेरी करता है. और मोस्ट ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टीज इसका रेंट जो है, जैसे साल भर का रेंट, सपोज 1 लाख अगर रेंट है तो साल भर का रेंट हो गया 12 लाख. उसी हिसाब से जो है उसको आगे जो है 3-3 4-4 5-5% जो है इंक्रीमेंट भी होता है. कुल मिला के 15-20 लाख रुपए जो है ऑन एन एवरेज निकालते हैं 9 साल का, तो बन जाता है. 20 लाख पे ड्यूटी लगती है, 20 लाख पे अगर ड्यूटी भी 3-4% लगी तो जो भी पैसा हुआ तो हेवी अमाउंट हो जाता है. जब हेवी अमाउंट होता है तो फिर हमेशा आदमी को ड्यू डिलिजेंस कराना ही चाहिए. अमाउंट चाहे इरेस्पेक्टिव कोई भी हो, लेकिन अगर आप चाहे प्रॉपर्टी जो है खरीद रहे हैं, प्रॉपर्टी लीज पे ले रहे हैं, जहां भी हाई स्टेक इन्वॉल्व है, हमेशा आपको ड्यू डिलिजेंस कराना ही चाहिए.
ओके सर.
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सर.
मोस्ट वेलकम. Yes, anyone please? Probably there is no question now, and thanks to all my learned friends to join our session. And I would like to inform that this is also available on our YouTube channel, Vidya Vijay Foundation, all the live sessions. And you also inform that in the every second and fourth Saturday, you always take the sessions from 11:30 to 12:30. So all our friends are most invited to join that sessions. Whatever your questions and answers, maybe the topic, maybe the different topics, I will always try to cover that different topics. And any of our learned friends who are joining wants to deliver any on topic, any session, wants to take any sessions, they are most welcome. They can use our platforms. This is the one of the platform which are working for the social cause. Name is Vidya Vijay Foundations. So all my basic aim that whoever our learned friends wants to deliver something, this platform is always open for it. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for the patient sharing. Thanks. And then we will meet again on the fourth Saturday, 11:30 to 12:30.